Nothing else.
Sean, I'm joined by Trey Hill as always. How are you doing, Trey?
Doing well. Yourself?
Not too bad, not too bad. And we're also joined by Marcus. Marcus, how's it going down in Florida?
What's going on, guys? I've been super busy. Happy to be back.
Nice. We love to have you back. You know, you and your wild takes and keeping me up to date on all the gossip in the NBA and the social lives of the players. So, but Trey, you had a great idea that you sent out. Took me a couple messages to wrap my head around it because I wasn't thinking straight today. Why don't you lay it out for us?
I mean, I always have off the wall thoughts, but in the East, I've always thought this like the last couple years. You've got rock paper scissors basically in each conference. For the East, you got the Celtics. They're going to beat the 76ers, but they are going to lose to the Heat. The Heat are going to beat the Celtics, but they would lose to the 76ers, I think, or at least they wouldn't. For me, that's what I believe. And then the 76ers, they're going to beat the Heat, but they're going to lose to the Celtics. And meanwhile, you've got the Bucks, who I think are just the best overall team, kind of looming large over them. And then in the West, you've got your three teams. The Nuggets, they can beat the Lakers, but I don't think they can beat the Warriors. And I think the Warriors can beat the Nuggets, but I don't think they can beat the Lakers. So I think the Lakers can beat the Warriors, but not the Nuggets. Now, did you follow all of that, Marcus?
Yes. I wanted to give a little.
I'm so proud.
I wanted to give a little pushback though, because regular season, you got it. I hear you. I love it. I love it. I want some more of it. But when it comes to the postseason, I feel like your rock paper scissors gets a little gets a little muddled. Because to be fair, Boston has been the team to make it to the finals more so than the Bucks have recently. And technically, not to be biased, but so has my team. So when it just comes down to it, I think that we could take the 76ers and put Milwaukee in there, and they would be a little bit more apt. That's just my only critique.
Well, see, I value championships, and until you can get one, then you can sit at the kiddie table.
Okay, fair.
And it works, actually. So I say that really halfway just talking shit. But if you look at it in the West, you've got those three teams, and you've got the Lakers, they got a title, the Nuggets got a title, the Warriors got a title, but you've got Memphis kind of, they're not looming like the Bucks, they're kind of lurking in the background, trying to find their way in more so. But for me, I kind of like having the league set up that way in my head. So you've got the teams in the East looking for a title, and they all kind of beat each other. And then you've got the Bucks with the championship experience looming over them. And then in the West, you've got your three championship proven teams that all kind of, boxing style makes fights type of thing. And you've got the Grizzlies lurking, trying to find their way into that championship level. So, all right. So if the Bucks are them, who are the Bucks beating? And who are the Bucks losing to? Are they just losing to they would have to beat the Heat and lose to the Celtics.
Celtics, correct.
But they lost to the Heat already.
Yeah, but
I mean they did, but Giannis
I'm not
was
gonna
hurt,
count
and that
that
series looked so mismatched. Marcus had written them off.
Yeah. And then we just throw the 76ers in the lurking pile because they're definitely not looming.
Until they figure out what's going on with Embiid and Harden, it's kind of hard for me to be like, oh, they're still there at that level.
Well, see, the problem with that is, and I hope Caleb hears this when he's in a good mood, because I don't think the Bucks lose to the Celtics, man. I don't think the Bucks lose to the Celtics. They have too much size, and the Celtics, they don't have enough playmaking and speed to combat that size. Like, I don't see a world where you have a fairly healthy Bucks team and a fairly healthy Celtics team, and they face each other. I don't like that matchup. Don't like it.
I really hope Caleb's
in a good
mood.
Personally, I do understand what you're saying. Like I said, I think because Philly is just so topsy-turvy right now that they don't really deserve to be that third team. So even if you don't want to make it the Bucks, I still agree with the premise that you're making. Because you're right, because even if it comes to my team, granted, we didn't face a healthy Giannis, but anytime that our teams play each other, anytime that we play the Bucks, it's always it's up for grabs, really.
Okay, so we didn't talk about this. If we're not replacing, we're saying the Bucks are the team that are kind of looming over all of it. They're favored over everybody. If we decide we're taking the 76ers out, who do we think is the next contender coming up into the group? Marcus mentioned the Cavs in the DMs. Is it the Cavs? Are they the next team up? Is it the Knicks?
I think talent-wise, it would have to be the Cavs. Just from like looking at players in a vacuum. Now, granted, the conduciveness might be a whole completely different thing, but I mean, they literally shit the bed in the playoffs. But throughout the season,
Sean, you remember like 5 minutes ago when I was talking about the 76ers and Marcus was like, well, if you're talking about the regular season, but if we're talking playoffs. Do you remember that, Sean? Because I'm pretty sure that just happened.
Damn. That did just happen. It's honestly, the 76ers
get to me for it too. That was fantastic. You know?
Honestly, the 76ers just get in by default because we can't put Cleveland in because of that playoff series. It's it's unfortunate, but the 76ers apparently have to beat somebody.
So with the Heat and Celtics, can I interest you in the Chicago Bulls? No.
You can interest me in the Knicks.
I think it's the Knicks. I don't know. I didn't love how the playoffs went for the Cavs, Jared Allen and Mobley. I just feel like it's hard to play two non-shooters in the playoffs, especially if you can't dominate the boards. If you can't dominate the boards or space the floor, it's hard when the game slows down.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's the biggest thing about Cleveland is Mobley and oh my god,
Allen.
What's his name? Allen. Yeah, just not being able to rebound against that Knicks team, which Cleveland was
if you think about it, if you look at it on paper, it's completely incredible that they got out rebounded.
Yeah. Like I just don't get it. And that was the thing. Like that's what Mobley has to be. He has to be rebounding, especially on the offensive end. If you're not going to get your offense going, a rebound put back is the easiest way to do it.
Do you have potential that he'll at least like expand like his 3-point range, that he'll have like more of a shot creation bag?
Honestly, it's like Wemby. They can shoot, but it's just not going to ever be there because they have to be down low so much.
Yeah.
They'll never be able to. Kevin Durant's the only one because he's started out as that and kind of just grew to 7 feet all of a sudden.
And I mean, I think this is where the strength part comes in because when they set those screens way out, when they go to crash the boards, if a point guard or a shooting guard can just kind of get in their way and box them out a little bit and they can't get around them, then if they're 8 feet from the basket and the other center is 6 feet, they're going to get that offensive rebound and Robinson's just going to, Robinson or whoever is just going to dominate. But for me, that felt like a series where, who's the Cavs coach? Bickerstaff. No, the Cavs coach. I thought Thibs had a good game plan, and Bickerstaff, whether it was the Bickerstaff game plan or the players weren't able to execute, I thought they didn't make a concerted enough effort to crash the boards for me. And again, maybe that was just the play style. The players weren't able to adapt on the fly as well. But I'm hoping this season we'll see significant improvement on that end because I love that team. I really, really like that team, but they got real problems.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, you're exactly right. And in the West, Memphis lurking. Are we ready to put Lakers in there as title contenders in the West?
I mean, they made the conference finals last year. Maybe not, but it worked well for my rock, paper, scissors. So that's who I threw in there. I am open to suggestions on the Lakers.
I like the offseason that they had a little bit. I'm probably a little more optimistic than most people are because I would probably give them a complete A for the whole transition that they had. Their biggest weakness was that they didn't have that much depth and they didn't have any didn't have a backup big, and I feel like they've addressed those issues. So it's kind of hard for me to not put them in the top three, at least in the most top three contending teams in the West. I mean, you could put Golden State in there, but you know, the whole not being good when it matters the most, or you know.
How about we do the Suns? The Suns lose to the Nuggets, but they beat the Warriors. I don't like the Warriors
I like the Lakers
against that
in
size
there.
and
I
scoring.
would keep the Lakers. I'd probably keep the Lakers in there.
And I'd probably
think-
take the Warriors out, to be honest. I'd put the Suns in there. But
I-
the championship
So you have
point,
you have the Lakers as a better favorite than the Warriors to win the title, you think, this year?
Yes, for sure, absolutely, no question about that.
Yes.
Oh man, I don't.
You want to take that bet?
It's we can
take that-
Draymond
we can
Green,
take that.
man.
We can take that bet on wax.
Let the Warriors get farther in the playoffs than the Lakers?
Yes, we can take that bet on wax.
Oh yeah, I'll take that. I'll take that all day.
Okay.
All right.
All I have to do is avoid the Lakers in the first round, and I think the Warriors. I think the Warriors can beat every team in the West except for the Lakers if they're healthy. I think every
you
other
think
team
they could beat the Nuggets?
You think beat the Nuggets?
Oh yeah,
No way.
Jokic chasing Curry, doing that yo-yo. That's going to be rough. Looney is a fantastic defender.
Jokic's not chasing Curry.
They're
They're not going to make Jokic chase Curry.
Or okay, well then Curry's getting wide open threes. How do you think that's going to like?
They
For
probably
me-
just blanket a box and one. Like they can do all kinds of crazy shit.
I mean, maybe, but I think I'm taking if the Warriors are playing well, I'm taking the Warriors in a series against the Nuggets because I have that much respect for Steph Curry, and I don't think Jokic can get out on him, and I think that would be every single time the Warriors had the ball, they would just be like, okay, Steph Curry, run a pick and roll with Jokic's guy. If he doesn't want to come out, we'll run Spain on that side, and he will have to they will force him to come out. And from there, you've got Curry against a broken down defense. I like those odds. And it might be a stretch. The Nuggets are probably the best team in the NBA, but if you have to pick a team to beat the Nuggets in the whole league, who are you picking? The only other team I'm considering is the Bucks.
I was probably gonna go with Milwaukee.
But other than Milwaukee, who is the team that you guys think can beat the Nuggets?
If
It clearly isn't Phoenix. I mean, with Bradley,
It's-
baby.
honestly, it's LeBron James. Like
We
he's
just
that kind.
we just watched them get swept the fuck out.
Yeah, but like Marcus said, they didn't have depth. They weren't playing properly. Like I think with the offseason that they had, they can potentially pull something off. Like if they start utilizing Austin Reeves a lot better, and LeBron James, he's in that category of somebody I don't count out. He made the Eastern Conference Finals 8 years in a row. So
We're all three of us are fans of the Eastern Conference. You can't say that like it's a real accomplishment.
I wouldn't say.
I mean,
all
it
that.
is, but
Okay,
it is.
I wouldn't say all
but
that.
some of the
but-
teams he had, come on.
What teams did he beat? He beat the one Derrick Rose team. He beat the one Indiana team. None of your Raptors teams were worth a fuck, man. I'm sorry, but they weren't worth a fuck.
They put up a fight.
He beat up that.
No, they didn't.
He beat up that. young
LeBron
Celtics
has been what was his quote? LeBron has been in adverse situations. This is not one of them.
team. LeBronto. Sean, they have named the city.
I do respect the Lakers. For me, if the Nuggets are the best at playing that big bully ball with having a big center, and it's like the swordsman. It's the best swordsman doesn't lose to the second best swordsman. He loses to the seventh or eighth, but they sword fight a completely different style. For me, that's Steph Curry, and if you can make Jokic have to I think Zach Lowe called it the loop, where he cuts up and down and then he goes out to the side and all that around stuff where he makes the center have to maybe not even cover Steph Curry, but he has to do so much rotating, so much switching that it's putting that then Steph can find a way to him because he's Steph Curry and we've watched him dribble through 4 people. For me, if I had to bet my life on one team beating the Nuggets, I think I'd even pick the Warriors over the Bucks. Because, I mean, if Giannis is healthy, I'm probably not because I love Giannis that much.
Bro,
God damn, I am.
I was like, bro, you're the number one Giannis stan himself. I'm like, you're really saying that?
I don't know what the Bucks do in a half-court offense to expose the Nuggets on defense. Like Holiday, Middleton is wearing down. Holiday he's not an offensive engine, like half-court offensive engine in the playoffs. Middleton's wearing down. Giannis is getting for me. I worry to beat the Nuggets, you have to score on them like every time because Jokic is that good. And so for me, it's offensive firepower. And I like LeBron. I like LeBron. I don't love LeBron, but I like LeBron. I like the Bucks, the Celtics, but you got to have offensive fucking fire. So like the Suns, the Warriors, I think those are the teams I would consider. What about the Suns? What do you guys think about the Suns being able to beat the Nuggets?
I think having Bradley Beal there adds a second level of ball creation, which they definitely needed in that series. But it also gives them another dynamic scorer on the points. So at that point, I mean, when you have 4 people on the court that could potentially give you 20 points at any given point, I think it's a good problem to have. So I wouldn't count on it just yet. I wouldn't say it for sure, but I think that might be the next team to might potentially give them a run for their money.
Marcus is exactly right. With the 3 ball handlers and shot creators, they can go all game with a good shot creator on the floor if they space out the minutes properly. And if DeAndre Ayton can just be serviceable as a 5 for that team, just know his role, rebound, defense, and set and picks, and you'll get some alley-oops. And can you be happy with that while making a decent amount of money? And I think the Suns are one of the favorites to beat the Nuggets.
I can't believe nobody brought up the Timberwolves, the team that played them the best.
The Timberwolves?
Man, I loved that team before they made that Rudy trade.
Oh my God.
That was.
Do you not remember how hopeful and optimistic all 3 of us were?
I know, man. I predicted them to win a title in the next 5 years.
The sun was rising. On those Cubs.
You know who the sun is rising on now? It's going to be Zion because he's going to be healthy. The Pelicans are going to be the number 1 seed coming out of the West, and he's going to win the MVP. You heard it here first. Who? Zion Williamson, MVP. He's going to have a newborn kid. He's going to be
Are you being held hostage by Mariah Mills herself? Or is she paying you to do this? From the $64,000
judging from how thirsty she is for attention, I don't think she can pay me to do anything. She's needing Zion to come pay them bills, and I don't know why else she would be doing what she's doing. But no, we brought up Zion before, and it got me thinking. There was that moment last year where he drove down and he hit that huge dunk on the Suns. And it was Zion's world, and we were living in it. The Pelicans, I'm pretty sure they were if they weren't the number 1 seed, right, then they were right there for it. And I can see, Embiid got his. Jokic has 2. Giannis, he has 2, right? Giannis has 2. And he's coming, he injured his knee this offseason. Tatum was the favorite, but they're going to be bringing in Porzingis. Tatum and Luka are kind of the 2 favorites for the new MVP, but Tatum's got to bring in the Porzingis, and Luka's got Kyrie to deal with. Like, I can very clearly see a lane for there to be a spot for a new MVP candidate, and like
it's Jokic again.
So if it's not Zion who comes through, who are some other guys that you guys think might be surprising MVP candidates? Like, I'm not going to say any. I've got a couple more in case you guys don't have any, because I'm doing this on the spot.
Guys go like crazy, like just crazy. Like you just want like something wild. Jalen Brunson.
Oh, I think it's what.
And the crowd goes wild.
And the crowd goes, what?
The crowd was dead quiet. Bro,
That was perfect. I was thinking Ant-Man, but let's talk about Brunson for MVP.
That, first of all, that's not surprising. Like, that's not. I don't think that's surprising at all.
Oh, I think Ant-Man would be surprising if he was an MVP.
To piggyback off what you said when it comes to the recency bias, I think that when it comes to players under 25, the most notable are going to be him and Luka. And I think Luka has too much on his plate to figure out how to deal with Kyrie right now. So Ant is literally in the position to play where, for better or worse, the team is built around him. They're going to probably ship out Cat, which means he could probably run it probably means they'll be able to run a decent pick and roll with Rudy Gobert. And at that point, he's in the system for him to thrive and to be the proverbial man that we all know he is completely capable of being.
Oh no, I love the pick. I just think from where we and the media view Ant today in the MVP race and saying, okay, at the end of it, he's better than Jokic, Giannis, like saying all those names, I think that would surprise me, but I can definitely see it happening. And it's probably more likely than the Zion. I don't know. I think I'd take my Zion odds over that just because I think the Pelicans have a better chance to be a good team.
Zion's injury and Zion's lack of play, I think, really hurt the case more so than anything. It's really hard for me to be like. Here's the thing: if he plays more than what is the criteria? What's the criteria they had to make? 65 games. I don't really feel comfortable about Zion getting to 65 games. I don't either. So I think that's automatically disqualifies him from this conversation, from the contention. Like, I hear you in a perfect world.
From pretend MVP candidates in a perfect world, he can't even get that. That's hateful, man. That's hateful.
It's not hateful. It's just statistically proven.
Yeah, we've seen the history.
All right, so you guys are out on Zion. I'm in on Zion. We made that clear. I'm ready to have that in the chamber here in a couple years. But so
Marcus had Simmons for MVP then.
Who?
I thought we were going most improved.
Oh, most improved.
You got to show up. I mean,
okay, so I really liked Ant-Man. Do you have one, Sean? You want me to throw you an alley? Do you need an alley-oop?
I was thinking Ant-Man myself.
Let's see what else. Like, no, let's get spicy. Not too spicy. Jalen Brunson was a little too spicy. I'm gonna turn it down a little bit. I just like the alpha aggression.
Surprising.
I just like the
surprising but realistic, Marcus.
Okay. Fuck.
So Paolo. What if Paolo just carried the Magic to the playoffs?
That's a good one.
I like that. Like Paolo, number 5. Me, I'm thinking, what happens if SGA carries the Thunder to like a 4 seed? Like a strong 4 seed.
I like that.
Can he get some love in the top 3 maybe for MVP?
Definitely.
I could see that happening. I think he's a guy that's right there knocking at the door.
In a perfect world, for me personally, I know it's really hard for us to give guard love when it comes to this, but if Donovan Mitchell's actually able to carry the Cavs to Eastern Conference Finals at least, I think that opens up the conversation if he's out there doing most of the offensive load for that team. Just to spice it up, since I think we've been going a little big. Well, you just said SGA, but he's also super duper long. I think it's really hard just to be like, oh yeah, these are the up and young players that are actually like transitioning well. I feel like it's all established players or like players that we already know like are gonna be him or like hims in training.
Did Ja get any votes?
Huh?
Who?
Did Ja get any votes in the last couple of years?
No, and he won't.
So if Ja's not getting votes the way he was playing, not this past year, but the year before, like it's going to be hard for guards to get votes.
I mean, I feel like Ja would have probably gotten votes if he hadn't been acting a fool.
It wasn't a dickhead.
If you right. So what about Dame Lillard in a Heat jersey?
No matter.
No,
leading the Heat.
Jimmy Butler on there.
No, sorry.
Jimmy Butler's not a regular season guy. Like I could see Dame coming in and leading them to like a 2 seed, having like 3 game-winning shots, waving off the crowd.
Like they all say, all the voters say it's a narrative. It's a narrative.
How do you feel about Tatum? That's not really a sleeper, is it? At this point,
no. I feel like him and Luka are the 2 obvious next 2 guys knocking on the door.
Okay.
Like you've got Giannis, Jokic, Curry, and Embiid. They've all won one, and then I think you've got Luka and Tatum right there that haven't won, but they're the 2 next guys.
They need to get rid of their.
Call me crazy, but if it might be kind of hard with Phoenix, but if Devin Booker is able to lead them to like a top seed, I think there's an argument that he could probably be in contention for MVP.
I was thinking that, but it wouldn't be that big of a surprise, though. I was thinking if you were talking surprises.
I don't know. I think it's kind of crazy to put someone besides Kevin Durant to be like, oh yeah, that's. But I don't know.
I think
we're talking not winners, but just contenders.
Just contenders.
You mentioned Paolo for Orlando. What about Cade if he can get Detroit into like the play-in, or even up in the high, maybe the 6th seed? Because they were the worst team in the league last year. They only won 17 games.
He'll be most improved. I think he's some good money to put on for most improved, because if he can last the season, he'll be a shoo-in for that award. So that's where I would put him. Not MVP. Like Detroit's not going to make the playoffs. They're gonna maybe sniff the play-in, and that's going to be a fantastic season for them.
Since no one else said it, Wemby MVP first year, MVP Rookie of the Year, first team, All NBA first team, All NBA first defense.
Do the McAdoo? Isn't that who did that? Bob McAdoo?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Am I right, Sean? Am I right?
No, you're not. You're not right. That's not going to happen. Definitely not.
I'm out of things on the talking board. What do you gentlemen have? Anything to hit?
No, Dame Watch is still going on. I'm over it at this point. Keep him. I don't want him anymore. I say that until the news breaks, and then I act like I've always known. So that's all I have.
I mean, I know the Suns wouldn't have a center, but I just want to see. I want to see Harden go to the Suns. I want to see Maxey and Ayton go to the Blazers. And I want to see Dame go to the 76ers and play with Embiid. Like, just get it done, call it in, swap those players around, and be done with it.
That'd be fantastic.
One Tyler Hero.
Nobody wants Tyler Hero.
Nobody wants Tyler Hero.
Nobody wants Tyler Hero. And nobody wanted Zach LaVine except for the Knicks. And apparently the Bulls asked for everything.
Yes, sir. Of course, it was his typical Bulls fashion.
Yeah. Reinsdorf wants to turn a dime into $1.
I've talked myself into the Bulls this year, guys. But we signed Javon Carter. He shoots 40% from 3, plays great defense. Then we got the bench guys scoring. Vucevic, perennial, holding down a top 10 defense. All we need is the offense. No, Marcus, you don't get to talk because you're a Heat fan, and I know what you're going to say. All right, go ahead. Ruin my dreams.
Does Javon Carter's defense supplement Lonzo Ball's defense?
Oh.
Yeah, but he does not supplement the passing, and that's where
passing or the shooting. Well, he has the shooting.
No, he can shoot. He's I looked up his numbers. He's fucking excellent shooting. Like top like 92, 93 percentile on shooting.
I think he's a good passer. He was the point guard at West Virginia.
Lonzo was a top like 10 passer in the league. His playmaking, his vision, like what he did for the Bulls with his playmaking is the most underappreciated thing about his game.
He really unlocked. I think he's actually the driving force that really unlocked DeMar to make him such the efficient god that he was that season. But
I mean that's kind of how luck goes. Like you see that in all the sports, like the close games, it varies. And last year the Bulls had a lot of really bad ones. So for me, if they can find a way, they don't have to have another top 5 defense, but if they can have a top 10 defense, I think they won't struggle to make the play in this next year for me. And that's just like Patrick Beverley came in at the second half of the year and the team looked fucking miles better. And Carter is a better version of Patrick Beverley. So I am hopeful. And if Zach sucks, then we can trade him at the trade deadline. Just get him out. I love DeMar though, because he takes care of all of the young guys.
Yeah, no, if we're talking about our teams, I'm going to get some NBA G League pass because the 905 are going to be sick this year with all the players.
You know what? You're not excited about. So what are you excited about with the Raptors?
The G League team. The Raptors
on the
are going to be a lottery team this year.
Bro, what do you mean, bro? You have
is Scotty Barnes your point guard now with Fred VanVleet gone? Are they just running him as the point? Like, I know Gary Trent Jr. will be the shortest guy.
Siakam's going to be gone too.
You think so?
Oh yeah, there's like so much chatter about him leaving. So I think they should just blow it up. Like, do
you think they trade Siakam before the season, or is it a trade deadline thing?
What would be beneficial in your opinion to get it over with
before the season? Yeah, let's get it over with. You know, the year before the Raptors won the championship, their G League team won the championship in 2018. So just throwing that out there.
Put some respect on the 905, NBA champion 905. But I mean, that's good though. I mean, because if you have a good G League team, that means you're gonna have good players eventually.
Yeah,
and the Suns are gonna have a G League team starting next year. So officially, all 30 teams will have G League teams, which is nice. I enjoy that. I think it's cool. I really like where the league settled on like players coming out of high school and having tons of options to make money and get into development. Like, I really like the way the league has set up the G League and the draft. I like where things are going right now.
Yeah, no, it's definitely conducive for players because not everyone is college made to shine in a college setting, and that's okay. You have multiple options. So.
All right. So if you don't get Dame, who do you want to keep, Tyler Hero, or who are you looking to get?
Fuck no. BB, it's your problem. No, I don't want him. No, get that man away from me.
He's just as good as Tyrese Maxey. He's just white.
I'd rather have Tyrese Maxey because he's black.
And he's better. He actually plays some defense.
So much better.
This is one of those color doesn't really matter.
Like Tyrese Maxey could be white with dreads, and I'd still be like, I want that guy over Tyler Hero. I don't know. Like, I hear what you're saying that we need being greedy. Just me being greedy. I would love nothing more to have Jaylen Brown, but that's going to be physically impossible. So, like, I don't know. I guess. I
really threw that to you, and I don't know who else would even.
There's no one else that like Dame fits the mold of the team. However, I just don't want someone that fucking old and to throw all his money at him. I'm sick and tired of throwing money at old players and then wondering why we don't have anything in the gas for later in the postseason.
We're gonna get a Hero for Siakam trade.
Fuck, that doesn't sound. It's really bad when that doesn't sound too bad.
It's fine. Yeah, let's just do it. I'll take Hero. We'll take Hero on.
I'm just so over this whole fiasco. I'll take whatever. Fuck, I'll take the fucking printer that they traded Kyle Korver for.
Siakam would do well in Miami. They could bulk him up a little. And I think he'd be good for the team.
Oh, yeah. So we can run Jimmy, Bam, and Siakam. I would literally kill myself.
I'm in a clip like that last little bit where, like, you're shipping Hero out happily, and Sean is just like, fucking take Siakam. I love Hero. And just be like, who hates their players more, Sean or Marcus?
I don't hate
Wow.
Siakam. Siakam needs to go to a nice spot. This is not the place for him. He needs to go where he will play in the playoffs. Right now, we're just
Wasting
starting from scratch here. And Scotty Barnes is our clay master.
All right, I think we're done on that note.
All right,
Thank you guys. So Trey,
Been a
where
pleasure,
can the
boys.
people find you?
On
Subscribe.
Threads at finally. I was going for. He said me, Marcus. Wait your turn, please.
And now, Marcus, where can the people find you?
I don't want to say it anymore. It's at Threads at No Chill Will.
At
What's
No
up?
Chill. All right, Threads. That's the place to be these days. That's right here. So I'll see you guys there in a couple
We're not.
years.
We're not
when
on
I
the
finally
X
give in.
over here.
Yeah. Anyways, thank you so much.
Aren't you
Check
on?
this
Aren't
out.
you on Discord as the Pipe God, Marcus?
Oh no, I'm not. It's Sir No Chillington Willington.
Oh, okay. That's even better. That's even better. I'm glad I brought that up so I can hear that.
That's a
All
great
right,
name.
go ahead, Sean.
Fantastic name. So check hoopsocial.com and thank you so much. We've got lots of stuff on the go. Trey has everything coming out. Just check out Trey. He's a good guy, and so is Marcus.
We piggyback off Trey's success. We're
Yes.
writing hotels to fame.
All right. Well, thank you so much and have a good night.